guys, it's Alison Creamer, and I am here today with a very special podcast. Now, it's slightly embarrassing, and it's definitely not a positive story, but I do want to turn it around into something that I think should help people. So I have recently, unfortunately, received my first infraction when it comes to real estate, and if you are interested in understanding it or reading it directly, you can go to DPOR, you can put in my name, and then look under complaints. So what I'm going to do today is kind of tell you exactly what the board put in as far as the consent order, and then I'm going to tell you my interpretation and what I learned from this, and I hope it does help somebody in the real estate market. So we're going to start with officially what was the consent order or the complaint. So this is file number 2017-01042. It does affect my license number, and the consent order reads like this. Respondent, Yvonne Alison Creamer, also known as Alison Creamer, recognizes and acknowledges being subject to and bound by the regulations of the Real Estate Board, as well as by all other applicable Virginia laws. Creamer knowingly and voluntarily waives any proceedings for this matter. The board's regulation provided grounds for disciplinary actions, and it cited Code 18 VAC 135-20-155. And it reads as follows. The board has the power to fine any license or certified holder and to suspend or revoke any license or certificate issued under the provisions of this chapter and title of the Code of Virginia and the chapter in accordance with subdivision. And so it goes in and it cites all of the provisions that my infraction actually violated. So the report and findings, which contain the facts regarding the regulatory and or statutory issues in the matter, are incorporated into the consent order. I received a $700 fine. I received a $150 in board cost for a total of $850 fine that I had to pay. It also says that I had to complete within 6 months 3 hours of continuing education. Let's see, it also acknowledges that, if I did not pay this or do this, that of course I could lose my license. So I signed and agreed it. I felt that what had happened, I understood the problem, but I still think I got a raw deal. So here's exactly what happened, and this is exactly what you can read on the DPOR board. So this is the facts according to DPOR. Yvonne Alison Creamer, DBA Alison Creamer, was at all times material to the subject matter to the board's regulation as an applicant for license and or licensed real estate persons. Based on the analysis and investigation of this matter, there's probable cause to believe the respondent has committed the following violation of, for the Code of Virginia. Here's the background story. On October 25, 2016, the Department of DPOR received a written complaint from Robert Violaion, our principal broker here at Keller Williams, regarding Creamer. On September 28th, Creamer, on behalf of her client, drafted an offer on the purchase of a property. I received a check of $500 earnest money deposit to be held by Keller Williams. On December 23rd, the subject property went to settlement. What I got violation for was improper delivery of the instruments and failing to provide in a timely manner to all principals to the transaction written notice of any material changes to the transaction. So here's the facts when it regards to that. September 29th, Creamer obtained an EMD personal check from the buyer. On September 30th, Creamer emailed the offer to Cindy Hawks White, the listing agent. On October 5th, White emailed Creamer the bank would accept the offer, but the offer would need to be drafted differently with addendums included. On October 5th, White drafted a new offer on behalf of the buyer with the needed addendums and emailed the documents back to Creamer for the buyer's signature. Terms of the offer included a $500 EMD cashier's check to be held by the seller's settlement agent. Fannie Mae does not accept personal checks. On October 6, Creamer advised the buyer by phone the EMD must be a cashier's check and emailed her the offer. On the 6th, the buyer digitally signed the offer, and on 7th, Creamer returned the offer to White via email. Paragraph 2 of the offer states the deposit shall be in the amount of 500 cashier's check held by the settlement company, and paragraph 2 also states purchaser has delivered the deposit to the selling firm, receipt of which is acknowledged in the selling firm. If the selling firm is not the escrow, selling firm shall deliver the deposit within one business banking day of the ratification of the agreement. One day shall not be deemed extended to the 5-day period referenced in paragraph 5B. On October 14th, Creamer emailed her assistant Stacy to swap out the EMD personal check for EMD cashier's check and mail the EMD to the settlement agent. That was done. On October 17th, we mailed the check by regular mail to the settlement agent. On the 20th, the settlement agent received the EMD. Creamer stated that between the 12th and the 13th, she was unable to coordinate a time with the buyer to swap out the personal checks for the cashier check prior to Creamer leaving for vacation. Creamer also stated she never notified or had any conversation with White concerning the late EMD and, in retrospect, should have requested an extension for the delivery or had the check overnighted to the settlement company. Creamer failed to provide written notice that the EMD cashier's check had not been obtained from the buyer when Creamer returned to the offer to White, or that the EMD cashier's check was not delivered to the escrow agent within one business banking day of the ratification of the contract. Okay. Now, all of that could potentially sound like a bunch of gibberish, but in layman's terms, my side of the story went like this. I did write the offer. I did collect a personal check. I delivered the offer. The agent rewrote the offer and sent it back to me, changing EMD from personal to certified. I was in the middle of a transaction getting ready to go out of town, and had I properly executed the delivery of the EMD, this might not have happened. However, Hawks had to have notified my broker of the late EMD, mainly because they weren't in possession of it. So when she was aware that it was late, she called my broker to have them notify DPOR of the violation. That ensued the investigation, and from the investigation, I was made aware that I had made a few mistakes, and I've been doing this 15 years, and of course, some of it just kind of happens swiftly and we don't think about it. So mistake number 1, never, ever, ever swap out a check. If you need to swap out a check from one form to another, note it on the contract and notify all parties. Problem number 2, if your company is not holding that earnest money deposit, either extend or allow for time of delivery or get it to that company within one business day, as the contract states. So that was a big lesson learned for me. I didn't feel any reason to fight DPOR on it. I didn't feel any reason to, try to get out of it. I made the mistake. I own the mistake and I made it. And what I'm hoping that somebody will get from all of this is that they will in turn remember, first off, if somebody is seeking knowledge to find out if an EMD is late for proof, they can turn you in. It is called self-reporting. And of course, once they know about it, if they don't turn you in, they're going to be in trouble. But some people will seek that information, and they may turn you in for it. The second is make sure you're holding the right kind of EMD, that it's clear. And if your agent, if you're not holding the EMD with your company, then you need to get it to somebody within one business day. So read your contracts, guys. Stay informed, and I definitely hope that this will help somebody out, and it might not cost you $850 in a violation.